Africa,
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you all for joining me for another session of the Daily African Proverbs. I am excited to be here with you. It's Friday, and it's just time for us to get together with family and and change our routine just a little bit, and feel a little more relaxed. Maybe have our favorite food. So I'm here, to spend an hour with you and to talk about, an African proverb. And today, the Daily African Proverbs takes us on a journey to Morocco. The proverb says, an old cat will never learn to dance. An old cat will never learn to dance. This proverb is the pinned tweet on my Twitter account, so you can join me there as well and retweet what your thoughts are. You can also follow my Instagram account at Okello Javan, where I've also posted this proverb, and I would love for you to comment as well. I'll respond as soon as this room ends, so that we can engage over there as well. I'm just so grateful to be here, and I want to I just want to add one thing here before we begin our session formally. I was just adding the topics at the top of the room. Clubhouse gives you the option to do that right at the beginning of the room, so I wanted to make sure I do that. But I'm excited to be here with Zizi and Joseph and Kalema and Alexis, Christine, Ominara, Mariam. Thank you so much for being here. We have a proverb that says, an old cat will never learn to dance. And this proverb, to me, I feel that it speaks to, certain habits that once you learn, it's so hard to unlearn them, and it just reminds us that, there are certain people that we might be dealing with, or certain situations that we might be faced with that are so ancient. We can't change them. We can't make them work the way that we want them to work, For example, myself, I live in Seattle, Washington, and I'm from Kisumu, Kenya, originally. And I am the first son in a very large family. And there are certain traditional African, traditions and expectations that I still have. There's still a lot of responsibilities that I have as the first son in a large polygamist family in Kisumu, Kenya, and I always have to adhere with them, because those are old traditions, and I can't change them. I have to find a way to work with them and dance with them and embrace them, even though I am so far away from home, And so, because I know that I can't change these traditions, I have to, figure out how to adjust, because I know this old cat will never learn to dance, But then there are other things that I can change. There are other things that I can change in my own life, in my own career, and things like when I do the Daily African Proverbs, I can change it from, it used to be 7 days a week. Now it's 5 days a week. I can, switch from one job to another. For example, now I'm working full time, on my own entrepreneurial endeavors. That's part of why I'm able to do the Daily African Proverbs so consistently. And then, I'm able to run One Vibe Media, my own media company, and One Vibe Africa. So these are things that I can choose, I can choose the games I play, or the things I do for adventure with my daughters. These are also things that I can choose, But, I know that some of the traditions that I was born into, I can't change them. So I wanted to share that to get us started for today's conversation that, takes us all the way to Morocco. But I want to just quickly let you all know that we are live streaming on YouTube, and my YouTube channel is Simon Javan Okelo. I am going to pin the link to the YouTube live stream in just a moment here. But I want to give a shout out to David Otieno, who has joined us on YouTube. And David is deeply involved with organizing Africa Day 2022. And every Saturday we are, gathered here on Clubhouse for an event in the Africa Day Club. This Saturday we are hosting amazing African artists, led by Naomi Achu, who just won Best African Artist in the Diaspora. So we invite you to join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now I want to invite Zizi, who is an elder and someone that I have so much love and respect for. Zizi is an Egyptian author and retired psychologist. And I want to invite her to share with us her thoughts on this proverb. The proverb says, an old cat will never learn to dance. Zizi, what are your thoughts? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I think the proverb is very good because you cannot teach an older person all new tricks because they got so used to what they're doing that it takes a long time to teach them something new. And the same thing for cats, you have to teach cats from the very, like let's say you don't toilet train a cat where to go and what to do. If you get an old one from the street that hasn't been trained, there's no way you're going to teach her. So we have to teach people when they're young what we want them to learn, especially languages and important values and so on. You cannot wait and say, oh, they're too young now to learn. I'll teach them later. That's not true. Like I know a lot of parents spoil their kids and they say, oh, he's only young. Like I see little kids slapping their parents on the face and doing bad things. They say, oh, he's only a baby. He doesn't understand. Yeah, you do. They understand and they know that from now on they're going to slap you if you don't teach them. So that's my outlook on this proverb. It's a very good proverb. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. I can totally relate to what you're saying, that you have to teach what you can teach when they're still young, and I see that so much with my daughters. Sometimes it's easy to get them to do things. Sometimes it's easy to get them to to learn, but sometimes they are also the old cats. Children are like our ancestors. They can be so difficult sometimes. Sometimes you ask them to do such an easy thing, and then they say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And they're so confident and so principled about it, but it's the easiest thing. And then you ask them to do something very difficult, and they're like, okay, So I can really relate with what you're saying. I want to welcome Dr. M.D. Williams to share with us his perspectives as well. Dr. No Days Off, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Simon. I appreciate it. I was thinking about this proverb here, and I was sitting here thinking, and because I was a little conflicted with it because it's saying an old cat cannot learn to dance. Well, that is very true. That is very true. Especially when the cat chooses not to learn. Zizi is correct. We should start teaching knowledge at the very beginning and immediately, especially when it comes to children, because, and especially today, because our children are so inundated with information, especially with social media making it more accessible for information. And one of the things that my wife and I did when our kids was younger is we wanted to ensure that we taught them first before they learn anything out there in society, because the way society is going to teach them is not the way we want to teach them, right? And so in dealing with an old cat or dealing with an older person, and this is how I interpret this proverb. And I ran into this issue too before. Dealing with an old cat or older person or a person set in their ways. One of the things is that they like the information or they want to do something new, right? And for instance, let's go in my field of being an entrepreneur or a leader or something of that nature. But they've been so accustomed their entire lives to working a job, or they've been so accustomed to working for someone else that they feel like they cannot accomplish it, or because of their age or something of that nature. And and it's one of the things I used to browbeat, to try to browbeat it into them that, hey, you can do this, you can do this, you're still alive, you're still breathing, you can do it. All you have to do is just put some work in to do it. But they're so convinced that that it cannot be done because they've been trained to think that way for many years. And the only way that that can happen is by their choice. They have to choose. It's something that you cannot make somebody do. They have to choose. The old cat not willing is not wanting to dance is because they're choosing not to do it. It's broken down by simple, basic human choice. And if they're choosing not to do it, they're choosing not to learn, then that's their choice, and there's nothing you can do about their choice. Now you can work to influence their choice, but work to change their choice is difficult, because there's a saying out there: you can change the people around you, or you can change the people around you. One of the two. And it means two different things, right? So, that's my interpretation of this proverb. I turn the platform back over to you, Simon.
Thank you, Dr. M.D. Williams. I just want you to say that one more time. You can, the two things you said last, and just elaborate a little more, because I'm interested.
Yeah, it's the term I hear that says you can change the people around you, or you can change the people around you. And even though it's the same words, it means two different things. See, the first one is that you can change the people around you, meaning mentally. You can attempt to change the people around you. The people that are around you, you can attempt to change their mental capacity, right? Change the way they think. You can do that. That is the most difficult task to do, because they're an individual, they're human beings. Now, of course, with your kids, you kind of control that a little bit more. But I'm talking about adults and things of that nature, right? Or you can change the people around you. You can physically change the people around you. You can physically change your environment. So, for example, if you're going into entrepreneurship, right, and you're working to be a successful entrepreneur like me, and my whole family, none of them were not entrepreneurs, right? And in the beginning, I attempted to change the mentality of how they thought about entrepreneurship, and it's work that I shouldn't have done, and I didn't need to do, right? So instead of trying to change their mentality, I just changed my environment. I changed the people around me. I got around people that thought like me, or that thought better than me when it came to entrepreneurship. So that's what that means. You can either change the people around you mentally, or you can change the people around you physically. And you'll find out changing the people around you physically is a lot easier than changing them mentally.
Wow. Yeah, this is a conversation for another entire room. So we need to talk about that, because it's very, very interesting to me, at least. And also, Dr. No Days Off and I have been talking about doing a series, of conversations similar to the Daily African Proverbs, but around leadership. So if you want to connect with him around that, directly send him a DM and follow him, so that when that starts, you can be a part of it. Go
Hey
ahead.
Simon, real quick, I will tell you, if you I have started something of that nature on, I call it the Dr. NDO show. It's on Wisdom, right? So if you follow me on Wisdom, You can go in and you can hear some of those talks that I've been talking about with about different forms of leadership and entrepreneurship and team building and self-leadership, things like that. I didn't mean to disturb you, but I just want to let you know Simon and I are working on that. And, I tailor my talks to help build up Africans and African-American entrepreneurs and leaders. And I turn the platform back over to you, Simon.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I want to welcome everyone who is here with us for the Daily African Proverbs, especially on Clubhouse. I'm really, really grateful for your time and also just the love and support. It means so much. I would love for you to ping in a few people into the room, 3 to 5 people. I would really, really appreciate that. Then I want to also appreciate everyone who is joining us on YouTube. The community on YouTube that supports the Daily African Proverbs continues to grow. So if you're watching this, I want to thank you and ask you to leave a comment with what today's proverb means to you. Today we are on a journey to Morocco, and the proverb says an old cat will never learn to dance. An old cat will never learn to dance. What does this proverb mean to you? Share in the comments. And also, finally, for those of us on Clubhouse, I want to encourage you to join the African Father in America Club and or invite others. If you're already a member of the club, invite others, because this is where we host the Daily African Proverbs. And the reason why we do that is because the African Father in America is my podcast. It's the name of my podcast, where you can catch all the episodes of these conversations across all podcasting platforms. So, we just want to ensure we use this platform to not only make our ancestors smile, because, if my mom was to wake up today and find me in a virtual room discussing African proverbs, she would find it quite funny, but she would enjoy it and respect it as well, because I grew up with proverbs around me that were primarily shared by her. And also, we are doing this to protect and preserve African culture so that we can share our stories and change the narrative of Africa, one proverb at a time. So thank you for helping us make this possible. I want to pass the microphone to Obsidian. Obsidian, share with us what your thoughts are on today's proverb. Thank you.
Not a problem. So I answered to either Sabrina or Obsidian Queen. And just by way of a brief introduction, you can see this in my profile, but my headline is that I am a Black, visually impaired, pagan, AMAB, assigned male at birth, trans woman who is also kinky. That part's not in the profile, but it should be. So, first of all, Zizi was the one who drew me to the room because of me following her. And then when I got in the room, I was really intrigued by the Proverbs title when I found out that's what it was. And for me, take a different spin on it, but still applies. So I am somebody who grew up with 3 cats in my life of major importance. One was the lovable peanut with a head and 4 legs and a tail that we call Georgia. Very creative when you're living in the state of Georgia. And the other would be Mufasa and Raja. Raja being Princess Jasmine's wonderful tiger. And so in all 3 cases, all of those older cats were not very energetic. Georgia, she was known for finding a place in the living room or the den or wherever she was and chilling out, and she would let you pet her and rub her to your heart's content. And if you walked away, she would just lay there. You come back, and it was almost like there was a rug that she turned us up into. Mufasa, sure, he had his active moments, but there's a very distinct scene in The Lion King in which you could tell that Mufasa's energy was just not as much as Simba would have liked it to have been, mainly because he was an older cat. And Raja, she doesn't get much play. Or maybe that's a he. I don't know. That cat doesn't get much play necessarily, but again, you see Raja just chilling out and whatnot. And so, an old cat, you can't teach an old cat, or an old cat will never learn to dance. It's true because if an older person does not have that energy, then they do not have the capability of learning things, or they don't want to learn anything because it requires too much effort, which is something to think about. And if you apply it to other parts of life, there's a common expression of you can't help the person that doesn't want to help, and it's the same thing. If they don't want to give that energy, then they won't receive whatever help you give. So those were my thoughts, and I'm glad that I was drawn into this room by Zizi. And I yield.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for those wonderful perspectives. I'm grateful. I do see here that Kalema has joined us. I think Kalema had to grab a phone call. Kalema also jumped out of the room again. She's in Kampala, Uganda, so sometime the connection is not stable there. Welcome everyone to the Daily African Proverbs. We've been doing this conversation since January of 2021, and we've stayed consistent because of many reasons that I was explaining earlier. And so I want to pass it to you, Donna. William, share with us what your thoughts are on today's proverb from Morocco.
Hey, good morning, Simon and everyone. What this is saying to me is just really basically what everyone has said before me. An old cat will never learn to dance. A closed mouth, a closed mind will never be fed. So when you are dealing with people that are accustomed to doing things a certain way, it is a challenge for them to not do it that way, even if the new way is more conducive. And I'll give you an example. I had my great grandmother was over 100, and she still washed clothes the old school way, on the board and with the soap, and you scrubbing it and you slam it against throw it against the rocks and everything. And even though she had a wash machine, she just really believed the wash machine would not get the clothes as cleaned as doing it the old school way. But I also like what you said, Simon, because when you talked about children, Dr. No Days Off and I have three children. Our children are grown, and two of our children now have children. And it's amazing, when we were raising them, yeah, we've always had a dishwasher, but we made them wash dishes. And they act like it was the end of the world. But we have a dishwasher. No, you don't have a dishwasher. We have one. Wash the dishes. And it was a challenge for them to get it. And they weren't even old, but they have that convenience and want it now mindset. So then we would explain to them, well, if you move into an apartment and your apartment doesn't have a dishwasher, then what you're going to do? So sometimes you can change people, but like Dr. No Days Off said, sometimes you can't. You have to pick and choose your battles. But once you realize that that person is not willing to evolve, then you move forward, and find a person that is willing to. And I turn the platform back over to you, Simon.
Thank you so much, Dana. For a while, when we were doing the Daily African Proverbs, I used to live tweet because we didn't do the live stream where I had to speak on camera. So I was always typing what everybody says, and as you are speaking, I had to start typing some of these nuggets because I think for me, the essence of the daily African proverbs is these nuggets of wisdom. So I hope if you are joining me on Clubhouse, you have a little notepad, or you can be live tweeting together with me. We are using the hashtag daily African proverbs, just like the topic of the room up here. So with that, thank you, Alexis. How are you doing, my Kiswahili sister? Alexis is now speaking a bit of Kiswahili. Let's see if she'll be able to respond. Alexis, habari yako?
Jambo.
Jambo sana.
Jambo, kaka kwalele.
I like that. So, Alexi, just share with us your perspectives on the proverb, and also share with us your Kiswahili journey.
Absolutely. So, just a little bit about my journey. Me and Simon had talked about him teaching me some Swahili, just, trying to get me acclimated. I want to learn the language. So, he sent me some links. Obviously, Simon is time constrived right now. So he sent me some links, and immediately I just dove right into it and have been speaking Swahili to Simon within chats, because that is one of the ways that we can learn languages much faster, is by actually writing and seeing those words in writing and being able to remember, because obviously if you see things, for me anyway, I'm like a visual person, so when I write things and see it, I can keep going back to it, and then I can follow me and his conversation that we have in the chat, and that's the way I can remember the words and how to say things, because I said Jambo just. Yes, I said Jambo from memory. So I'm like proud of myself. I'm learning. But yes, in my perspective today on the proverb, Dr. No Days Off, I have to give it to you. You literally read my mind today, and everything he said, down to the you can change people or you can change people. I felt all of that. That is exactly my sentiments. Exactly. He explained it so eloquently and in a way that it's very easy to understand with examples. So I really didn't have much else to add. Everyone else said things that really did give me a different perspective on it as well. But I'm just loving this space, Simon. I thank you. I thank you for everything. And that's all I have to say today. Thank you. Love everyone in here.
Thank you so much, Alexis. After we began chatting, in Kiswahili, I thought that, and also, you and I talked about Wisdom app, and I realized that we can actually use Wisdom app to share a few lessons and leave them there for others to listen to. I feel that it's a perfect app for that. So if you're interested, let me know. But I interviewed the founder of Wisdom app this Monday, and Dr. No Days Off was also there. And one of the things that they're trying to do is to build this app. The app was built particularly for people who are interested in teaching others something, so for mentors. But it's also now being built so that whatever lessons or talks that you record there, you are compensated for. So, I think we should talk about doing them on Wisdom and see if other people will benefit from them. But they should just be nuggets, like 1 minute nugget or 2 minute nugget of Kiswahili that somebody can learn. So let's say you are about to travel to Kenya, or you are about to have a phone call with someone in Kenya. What do you do? What do you say to because it said that there's a saying that the way to a man's heart is to speak their language. I think it's Nelson Mandela that used that word of wisdom. And I think if you don't know yet, Kiswahili is spoken in more than half of the countries in Africa, and Kiswahili is being pushed to become the language of the African continent. In fact, in South Africa, it's already in the curriculum, and in various other countries that never used to even have Kiswahili in their educational system. So it's a language that I think everyone, even if you're not of African descent, you should embrace it. And it's a beautiful language too. Listen to some Kiswahili songs and you just be, moving and dancing. But now, thank you again, Alexis, for your perspectives on the proverb. And I want to welcome Charles to also share with us, his perspectives as well. Thank you for all the amazing work that you're doing. Share with us your thoughts and welcome back again.
Thank you, Simon. Yes. Well, first of all, an old cat. It's good to see you, and I always enjoy hearing.
Hey, Charles. This
Yes.
is Simon. I think I skipped Leila for a moment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for a moment, I think I just didn't see her. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the app or just me. But if it's okay with you, let's just hear from Leila Yusuf, who has been here with us for quite a while. Leila, it's nice to see you. Please share with us your perspectives on this proverb.
Habari yenu, habari ya asubuhi. That's Swahili. It means good morning and hello to everyone. Good to see you, Brother Simon, and everyone. Yeah, an old cat will never learn to dance. Wow, this saying has so many different ways that when I think about it, when they say, you can bring the camel to the river, but you can't force them to drink, So for me, it's more keep the focus on yourself. If you tell someone once or twice and 3 times, shame on you if they're not doing what you think is the right thing to do. So for me is more like keep the focus on yourself, because you can't change people. You can change you, but you can't change other people, except if that person is willing to change and be very uncomfortable. And of course, we don't like change, most of us. And when we get really uncomfortable, we run away instead of going through your feelings. And they always say, feelings is just facts. It never kills you. There's always a good thing that comes out of the other side when you go and walk through the fear of the change. So that's kind of where this saying for me is, and I really stopped doing that. I can't change you, I can change me. I always say, bless them and change me, because whatever you say or do that triggers me, there's something about me that I need to change about that, myself, instead of pointing a finger at you. So thank you so much, Simon, and good to see everyone. And also, Simon, just want to let you know we are doing some 3D printing homes, and I would like to have a conversation with you in Kenya. I'll be there this summer for July and August, and I would love to meet again in Kisumu. I'm going back to my childhood home that I left 25 years in Webuye, and my school in Kisumu Girls, and I would love to be of service to that community, because that's what the community that raised me. So thank you.
Leila, that's beautiful. I just sent you my cell phone number so that we can connect. When I hear you speak, I'm very proud, because Kisumu brings up amazing people, and some of the Lupita Nyong'o is from Kisumu. We can even claim Barack Obama. So you're one of the greats that our region has produced. So thank you again for being here. And yes, I would love to connect and work together and support you however I can. Now let's hear from Charles. Charles, thank you for your patience. The mic is yours.
You're such a gracious host, and again, it's great to be here. The proverb is stimulated in me. I went right back to the kitten, right? And if it's in an environment that stimulates it, and it gets to know every crevice and every corner, and it's educated basically, and the child, if it's exposed to creativity and reaching its potential to be able to climb the highest tree, the then it learns the steps of its environment. It learns the temperament of those around them, and I think it gives the old cat that does know how to dance, uh, willingness to explore new ideas, and in reference to Donna and a couple of other people that mentioned, those that would hold you back. I read somewhere, and I heard a preacher say, whether it's a religious thing or not, it made sense to me. He says that there's those that you follow, there's those that you walk beside, there's those that follow you, and there's those that would hold you back. And then you have a responsibility. I feel I have a responsibility to those that follow me to not turn back to something that is not something that I follow in every step I take. So I think it's important that we all learn a new dance, remember our childhood, and the ability to be flexible and not be afraid of new music. So yeah, this is Charles 222, and you can see I'm working the African continent, 11 countries. Botswana is delivering those filters I've been working with that are providing clean water, and I've got it down that we can distribute these filters and provide clean and good jobs in the community, and distribute 1,000 of these filters a month, with a goal of 20,000 filters, which could easily be consumed and more. But we get it down to $50 a filter. In many cases, these clinics and schools, 50 people are using a filter. So we can show that our tax dollars and all our philanthropy dollars could really go immediately to solve cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and those other diseases. And I've proven it on a small scale, and I've learned and got cooperation from the manufacturer and other nonprofits that we're looking to go to scale in a couple of these countries, or all of the countries that we've done these pilot programs in. So yeah, I think if we remember what we learned as a kitten, that everything is a plaything, as well as some things will hurt us, we can help each other herd the cats, if you will. So this is Charles 222 in Tampa, Florida. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charles. I'm grateful, and I'm amazed by the progress you've made with the water filters. I would love to connect and just learn more and see how I can be helpful to you as well. One thing you said that I wrote down was that you have the responsibility to ensure those who follow you don't follow what you don't follow. I loved that statement. So I tweeted it. If you want, I actually tagged you as well, Charles, so you can retweet it later on. Dr. Wanda, I hope you're doing well. I'm just grateful that you're here. Share with us your perspectives on today's proverb in a moment. Before you do that, I just want to welcome everyone else who just joined us, in the room, from Jason to Joseph, all the way to Zizi. Thank you so much for being here with us on Clubhouse. Please ping in 3 to 5 people to join us for the conversation. Please make sure you're following the African Father in America Club, and also tap the link at the top of the room on Clubhouse so that you can join us on YouTube, where we are live streaming and having the daily African proverbs as well. And right after this room, this conversation is going to be available in the African Father in America podcast, which is available across all podcasting platforms. So now we are going to go to you, Dr. Wanda, so that you can share with us your perspectives, your interpretation of the proverb from Morocco that says, an old cat will never learn to dance. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Appreciate just the opportunity to be on this stage. I really like this proverb, an old cat will never learn to dance. It just kind of reminds me that if you don't want to be old, continue to learn. That's the secret. That's your fountain of youth. Continue to learn. Learn a new language. Speak it out loud. Embarrass yourself. Make mistakes. Fail forward. Fail fast. Fail often. Get lost in a new city. Learn your way. Learn a new skill. Use a new app you've never known how to use before. And even humble yourself and ask a teenager for help. And then you will never become old if you are continually learning. And that's my interpretation.
I love that a lot. That you never grow old if you continue learning, because that's so true of so many elder, like Zizi. Zizi joins me on YouTube sometimes. Zizi is on Clubhouse. Zizi is just so amazing. I love that. So thank you, Dr. Wanda, for reminding us that to stay young is to challenge ourselves, is to do things that we are not so comfortable doing. Kesiwa, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us for this session. What are your perspectives on today's proverb?
I just love this, and just the fact that it's from Morocco is really quite beautiful, because look how the proximity to Egypt and everything, right? And we know how much cats, what roles it played in their dynasties and things of that nature. I just find that cats, um, how are you going to teach a cat? They are the ultimate survivalists, and so just for me, just the idea of just forcing something onto a cat, it's like, no, and it really plays into someone that they are just quite content, and they are it's sort of like they have the mentality that they've done everything. I hope I'm not breaking, but if they've done everything the way that they meant to in their life, they have no regrets. That's something to be admired, because they march according to their own beat, right? So, in that sense, yes, indeed, an old cat will never learn to dance, because perhaps they've done everything, they've survived thus far, perhaps their way of celebrating their achievement is very different, and then what we will ever understand. So, in that sense, it's sort of like, for the person on the outside looking, don't assume that this old cat doesn't know how to dance. They probably do, but they choose when and at what moments to be exuberant and express themselves. And I look at it like they're very good at conserving their energy, and that is to be admired, because it's like uh, the reason that they're conservative, because they've been there, done that, and possibly they're looking at us to be able to learn from them, right? And so I really do appreciate um, this particular proverb, and I will end here. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome, Kesiwa. I love what you had to share, that, don't assume that the old cat does not know how to dance, and also how, the old cat can, and also, people who have in my mother tongue, we always say people who have eaten a lot of salt. They've been there, they've done that, they know how to conserve their energy. Those are amazing characteristics that, as an observer, as a listener, as a learner, we should always pay attention to the old cat in us, to the old cat in other people, to the actual elders in our lives. There's so much we can learn from them. For example, how to conserve your energy so that you can run a marathon instead of a sprint, because life itself is a marathon. And so thank you, Kesiwa. And that was one of the tweets I had to share today. These days I don't retweet constantly the way I used to, retweet almost every nugget that was shared in the room, because one thing that I've learned by doing the daily African Proverbs almost on a day-to-day basis since January is that I love being in this room. I love being in this show. This is the type of content that I want my children to see. It's the type of content I want to watch on YouTube and listen to when I'm driving on a long journey. And that's because I'll not get it anywhere else. And where else will I listen to Kesiwa share that type of nugget, or Zizi or Donna? And we are gathered here truly like a village. We are from all corners of the world, sharing amazing wisdom around one proverb. So it's just amazing, and I'm truly, truly grateful. We've come to the tail end of our conversation today, and I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to all of you who are on YouTube who have joined me. Thank you so much. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. My channel is Simon Javan Okello. That way, whenever we have these shows every Monday to Friday, you can catch them. And also make sure you push the notification bell on YouTube. That way, whenever we have a new video, you can catch it. And leave your comment. Leave your comment and teach someone what you know, so that we can continue thriving as a global African community. I just want to see if David is available, because I really wanted him to speak to us about Africa Day 2022 and the session we are having tomorrow in the Africa Day Club. David, if you can join us on stage. And after we hear from David, we are going to wrap up our conversation for today. David, the microphone is yours. Yeah, David must be talking while he's muted. So soon he will be able to unmute himself and we will hear from him. Go ahead, David.
Hello. Sorry, Simon. I think I was muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Simon, and thank you everyone who came in today to join us on this very always a lovely day and a lovely room when we talk about African proverbs. I'm really happy to be here. My name is David. I'm also from Kenya, around Lake Victoria. And just wanted to add, when Simon you are speaking, I thought about the native languages that we speak in Africa. I was taught that when I was young, and one time I was out of the country almost for about 7 years. And when I came back, I could still remember it. So that was just something I wanted to share, that, once you learn something as a young kid, it's always you'll never forget it. But about the program that we have, the Africa Day, we did Africa Day last year on May the 25th. Africa Day is the day when we do celebrate the Africa Union. That is the time when Africa Union was formed. And we have several leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, Tom Mboya, Sankara, and Julius Nyerere, several African leaders who are actually part of that formation. And they reminded us of our unity. They reminded us of our solidarity. they also reminded us that if we don't unite, we will be taken advantage of, that we need to work together, that we need to be able to, look into how we can develop our continent. So we do reflect always on Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, or 9 a.m. PST. And we really just talk about the event that we had in 2021. There were several, issues that we talked about. It was about how do we change the narrative about Africa. So there are stuff to do with cultural identity, ownership, reshaping mindset, music, consciousness of our diaspora. How do we leverage the industry, the $1 billion industry that we have, the politics, food. So it's really interesting. But for this Saturday, we will talk about African music. We'll talk about African music, especially the global impact of African music on to the world. So we invite all of you to come in and enjoy. We have several artists that are joining. We have the Queen of Babanda. I think you guys know her very well. She's going to come in, and several other artists from Africa. So we do request that you have time, please join us, and let's reflect about Africa. Let's reflect how we can change the narrative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, for all the amazing work that you're doing. So follow David, and that way, if you want to be involved with organizing Africa Day 2022, he can add you to the list of volunteers or speakers. We are currently recruiting speakers and volunteers who can help us, secure the sponsorships and partnerships to host another 24-hour Africa Day marathon here on Clubhouse. So thank you, David, and the whole team. I saw Sensors here earlier as well, but also really to you who is in the Clubhouse room right now, Chesco and Dr. Moby, the Explorer, Anisha, Lula. I see here we have T. Dolma and Domingo. I'm just giving everyone a shout out. Christopher, Brother, Ahadi, Fred, Monica, Steve. Steve is my biological brother, by the way. Then we have Dilo, Roger, Sarah, MK, Davon, and Joseph, and Zizi, and David, Kesiwa, Dr. Wanda, Alexis, Leila, Dr. No Days Off, and Miss No Days Off. Thank you all for being here with me today. I'll see you on Monday for the next daily African Proverbs. But, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be here with David and the entire crew. Now, if you are Kenyan and you are interested in talking about Kenyan politics and talking really about the story of Raila Odinga, join me tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be having a conversation with Billian Ojiwa. He's running for Member of Parliament for Madari. He's a young Kenyan who I have a lot of respect for. So come and listen to his story and also listen to his perspective about Raila Odinga, who has been, someone who has fought for the democratic space that we have in Africa, and is also the current Africa Union High Representative for Infrastructure. He is responsible for, a number of major infrastructural projects going on in Africa. So come and learn more. Thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Peace and love.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington.